On this week's show, Peloton's year in review is here, and members are taking longer workouts.
Plus, Jess Sims is off the schedule for surgery. The studios are closed for the holidays, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 205 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm Amanda Siegel, and I am joined by not one, but two co-hosts today to wrap up this year. Hello, Chris and John.
Hey now, it's the trio show.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good. It's the end of year. We couldn't do the end of year without having Chris on here. Got to have Mr. Pelo Buddy himself giving us his end of year insights, right?
We'll see about that. But it has been a busy year, so
it has been a busy year. That's for sure. And of course, there is just so much to talk about today. So we are going to cut the chit chat, I think, today, so we can get right into it. And share with you guys everything that has been going on in the Peloton world. As always, folks, before we get started with the show and with the news, we'd like to remind you how you can stay up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button so that you never miss an episode.
Yep. And of course, you can always listen to us if you're on the go, in the car. We're on all available podcast platforms. So just search for us there under Pelo Buddy TV.
And finally, we are on Facebook, Instagram, X, all those fun social media platforms. So just search for Pelo Buddy and follow us on those platforms for all of your latest news. And now let's get on with the show.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right. Well, first up, Peloton has begun, and hopefully everyone's received their year in review 2024 email by now. But if you haven't yet, and you're listening to this, hopefully you'll receive it the next day or two. I would preface by saying, don't get too excited, because just like last year, it was a bit of a letdown. I'm trying to be impartial, trying to be unbiased, but the crowd did go mild to this one once again. And the data just for this recap, because obviously we just received our emails a few days ago. It's not quite the end of the year. So the data for Peloton's 2024 recap, it runs from January 1st of 2024 to November 30th. So your December workouts aren't factored in any way. So check your emails. It'll have the subject, your name. It says check out your 2024 milestones. So maybe check your junk folder if you don't have it in your inbox. But it summarizes members' workout stats. It goes into community highlights, gives each member a workout personality, and highlights everyone's achievements and streaks.
Which may or may not be correct.
Yeah, which might not be too accurate, let's say, or just not correct at all.
Well, I think we discovered that everybody is a rower.
Yeah, even if you've only done maybe one class.
Or never done one ever.
Chris Giles, our producer, has maybe 3.
And I also heard of a lot of people who got the Festival Fanatic, but they only took, say, one of the all-for-one classes. So it seems like there was a little bit of some randomness in there.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people with the Festival Fanatic, and some folks didn't all seem all that crazy about that. They're like, I've never ridden with Jess King once and done one of her.
Right.
So people were kind of puzzled. Anyway, getting back into the nitty gritty of it, you should see an overview of the workouts for the year. It includes miles ridden, kilometers rode, calories burned, minutes worked out. It also highlights how long you've been a member. Next, it summarizes your streaks and achievements, and it shows off what your longest streak was for the year, as well as shows some of your badges. But Peloton did make some tweaks to how they highlight streaks in the app this year. So it's worth noting. So the next section highlights your workout personality. So this is designed to showcase what type of workouts you might gravitate to. For example, one is a cadence conqueror. Another is a vibe curator, which is the one I received in my email. There are other workout personalities like roadrunner, festival fanatic, rowing rock star, gold getter, and more. The vibe creator defines itself as new routine, no problem. You keep it fresh this year with a variety of different workouts. We're excited to see what you'll stack this year. It says the cadence conqueror is, quote unquote, you push through heart-pumping intervals and cranked up the resistance on challenging rides this year, way to set the pace. Finally, the email wraps up with some overall stats for the Peloton community. So it includes the following stats about Peloton for 2024. So for the company as a whole and all the members, they say 461,319 members trained for a marathon in 2024. They said over 250 million members hit a PR this year. Note that one little caveat there, which we kind of put an asterisk next to, is Peloton doesn't have 250 million Peloton members. So most likely there were 250 million plus PRs set.
Right. That makes sense.
Which still might be a little
Which
high.
still
If
seems
there's
high.
6 million members is,
That many
every
PRs?
member getting that many PRs. I don't know. Maybe it is, but
I don't know. Maybe there's something, a little glitch in that metric. Anyway, Peloton then links people to a highlight reel, which should open in the Peloton app. They highlight the 1.39 billion plus miles on the move. They point out that this mileage equates to more than 350,000 trips back and forth from New York City to London between the two studios. And it doesn't specify what discipline that's covering, though. But according to Peloton, members rode a total of 2.98 billion meters in 2024, which is enough to travel around the entire globe 75 times. And next, they highlight the time members spent meditating through the year. A total of 852 million minutes, which equals to 1,620 years of Zen time. So I know you contributed a lot to that figure, Amanda, with your meditations. And finally, they shared a special video message from Peloton instructors. The entire instructor video titled "Thank You for Showing Up in 2024." It was kind of just like a little clip show of instructors. They probably asked each instructor wherever they were to just send a quick, generic thank you, great job. So like some instructors are just in their apartments, or they're on the balconies, or in the backyard of their house, or they might be at the studio. So you see a varying different backgrounds in those little clips that they've assembled in this "Thank You for Showing Up" video. And then the year in review follows the previous trends of Peloton emailing stats out in mid-December. The 2023 recap was emailed on December 14th. The 2022 one was on December 15th. This one was on 17th, Chris?
17th.
Around the same time. Yeah.
I do want to say, if people are, kind of missing those more in-depth stats, I do want to give a plug for Domestiq.net. They have a feature called Replay. So if you go to Domestiq.net and go to their replay, you can get a full year in review. You can do it now, but it updates every workout you do. So at the end of the year, you can go back and get that full calendar year. But it'll give you some of those stats that you used to get, like which instructor did you work out the most with? What were the top songs you heard in your classes? What were the top modalities you did? And you can slice and dice it any way you want it. So if you're interested in kind of that more in-depth, that is Domestiq.net, and that is their replay feature. And we do have an article on Pelo Buddy kind of showing you a breakdown of some of the stats that you can see there in a direct link if you can't find Domestiq.net.
Yeah, and it's a way more comprehensive breakdown. And you just go to the native site. There's not an app for iOS
Right, there's
users.
no app. You just go
And
to
it's
your web
free.
browser. Mm-hmm.
There's no cost for it, too.
And it's with a Q at the end, right? Yeah.
Yes. DOMINUS.
DOM
I should know that off the top.
TIQ.net. .net,
.net.
I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Put you off guard there, Chris. Sorry.
.com is already taken. Sorry.
Right. So I guess that's one way of us figuring out what we're doing in a little bit more of a structured way, huh?
Yeah, and I did see a member share their stats in their Instagram stories using Domestiq. So lots of folks do use it and like it.
Yeah.
Including myself, especially for the song and artist search, which is way better than trying to find a specific song or artist on the Peloton app.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, there wasn't really anything fun to share, though. I mean...
No, I mean, a few years back, the video was kind of fun that they gave us, you know, and everyone was resharing that. I mean, nobody's really kind of into reposting the very sort of generic details that we were given this year.
The one thing that they designed this year, it seemed like they wanted people to share that festival fanatic or row
personality.
Whatever. It seemed like that was the thing they wanted to share, but it didn't seem to match up for a lot of people. So I just didn't see a lot of people kind of going around sharing that necessarily.
Correct. Yeah. Agreed. All right. Well, moving on, our buddy Jess Sims shared on social media that she underwent surgery on December the 11th to repair her medial meniscus in her right knee. So this is the same knee where she had torn her ACL back in 2009. Jess shared that the diagnosis took some time due to her fluctuating pain levels and unclear causes. She emphasized, though, that that one really has to emphasize, she emphasized that the importance of listening to one's body. And she knew something wasn't right, even though she had been seeing, her doctor. They weren't quite sure what exactly was going on. She just knew that something wasn't right. And, she says, thank goodness she did listen to her body. She also shared that viewing recovery as an opportunity rather than a setback is truly her mantra. She said it gives her an opportunity to just kind of chill. It's the holiday season. She obviously thought about when she was going to have that surgery, with time being off on the schedule. Encouraged members to do the same if they were in similar situations. She did say, though, that she will be back in the new year. She said that she'll take a break.
End of January.
Teaching her classes, correct, and will be there. Potentially will be back. At the end of January, where she'll gradually resume her Peloton schedule, possibly even early February.
So she did class after the college game day.
Sorry, what, Chris?
The class did show up on the studio booking site for the very last weekend of January, so that some members did book a class with her. Now, of course, that's probably subject to change if she needs a longer recovery. But January 29th weekend, I think, she is back on the schedule.
Okay, good. Sorry, what were you going to say, John?
I was just curious, did she time getting the surgery? I guess because it was right after, the college football season
I'm sure
basically ended. I mean, there's no more college game day on Saturdays until I guess maybe the playoffs kick back in, which is actually this week, the first round of playoff games for the college football.
From a timing perspective, it seemed she put some thought into that.
She's probably not hosting during the time she's recovering. And I was also curious, was this the physical ailment that she had a couple years back?
Yeah.
Where she took some time, and I remember in a bike boot camp, she had to stop the class and end it. At one point, because she said, I have to listen to my body and I can't continue with the class. Remember that?
I do remember that, but I don't know if that was the same thing. I don't know. Yeah. I know that she had issues with this in the past and had surgery. So who knows? And just finishing up, she did thank the community for everyone's support. And again, stressed the importance of prioritizing health. So Peloton recently implemented those off seasons for instructors. So this definitely allows, full breaks, for them to take some breaks for recovery and personal needs, so it definitely, I'm sure she coordinated that. And then she just encouraged others that are dealing with injuries to view this as a time to heal and just come back stronger. So I like the fact that they're, really are sharing that and being vulnerable. It's got to be frustrating for them as well. So we're definitely seeing more of that, where instructors are just, taking off because they're just not feeling good. So look, I mean, Rebecca was just off now with COVID, and she shared that she was off because she got COVID really badly. Mariana got a terrible stomach bug. She shared, that she just had to listen to her body. So yeah, I mean, I think it's good because I do think, you see more and more members who are injured, who have injuries. And I think we all, need to take a step back and say, it's okay, to meditate and not have to be, at the top of the leaderboard, John Pruitt.
Yes. Touche.
Well,
Touche.
In other news, Peloton has shared a little bit of details about how their members are working out. Peloton's chief financial officer, Liz Coddington, spoke at a conference recently, and she was kind of asked about Peloton's engagement. And she started by saying they're happy with the engagement levels. And she went on to say that in quarter one, which is the quarter they just reported, that the average number of workouts per month was pretty stable. But they looked at the data another way, and they saw that there was an increase in the engagement, which means in combination with that fact, members are taking somewhat longer workouts based on that data. So people are taking the same amount of workouts, but they're ending up working out for longer, which means they're taking slightly longer workouts. So that's kind of changed over the years. I know in years past, Peloton's talked about how people have been wanting or taking shorter workouts. They didn't really go into the reasons of why that is, but that was just kind of an interesting shift. So it'll be interesting to see over time. And we've kind of seen that a little bit. Like they're starting to do more 2-hour workouts, 90-minute workouts.
Yeah, it's nice.
So will that continue? And, as Peloton makes more of those, will we see that shift even further as people have more of those longer options to take?
So, Chris, I'm actually curious about that. So when they say longer workouts, actually in time versus somebody going onto the platform and working out for 2 hours, but doing 10 workouts versus somebody
Correct.
actually...
It's
a longer
because it
class,
was
taking longer class
correct.
formats.
Correct.
Got it. Because I do like those extra 10s. I hope they don't do away with those. I mean, I like stacking those onto a workout at the end.
I mean, I love a 45-minute ride, not so much on the row or the tread or in strength. I mean, I don't think I would be all that inclined to do one that long, especially on demand.
Yeah, those 60-minute strength classes
Those are rough.
Tough. Those are tough. Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, the annual workout challenge is back, and members can sign up for 2025. Interestingly enough, it doesn't look like anything has changed, with the limit still being set at 20,000 minutes. So there are, and I'll give him a shout out because I think he deserves a shout out, but Nicholas Brill at like 178,000 minutes having worked out. I mean, I didn't think there were 178,000 minutes in a year to work out. But yeah, I'm curious to know why Peloton hasn't increased those minutes, maybe to 50,000, because there are a ton of people that are at that point. What do you think?
I wonder if they're worried about it motivating some members to work out long. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a concern on their side. So that's the only thing I can think of there.
I think you're right. And I think especially since they've been pushing, this with the instructors kind of, listening to their bodies and taking that time off, etc. I do agree with that. So I think that probably is a really smart move on their part. Yeah.
Well, a friendly reminder, since the holidays or Christmas is a couple days away and New Year's, the studios are going to be closed. So PSNY is closed from December 23rd to January 1st. So we'll have live classes resuming from PSNY on January 2nd. And then since January 2nd, I believe, is on a Thursday, PSL is closed that day. Classes will resume at PSL, live classes on Friday, January 3rd. So just a heads up.
And don't freak out, everybody. Tons of on-demand classes, catch-up on classes that you've missed. There is so much content. out there right now. So yeah, while you're not taking live classes, it's actually with these Wednesday drops, it's almost overwhelming. They drop so much on a Wednesday that, there's just so much on-demand content that people can catch up with over the holidays. So
Yeah, well, speaking of Peloton motivating people to work out, they're also starting off the new year with what they're calling the 100-day challenge. In December, we saw them have the Streak to the New Year challenge, which was to work out 31 days in December. They're starting the new year with the 100-day challenge, which is motivating people to work out every single day for the first 100 days of the year. There's only one badge, so if you work out from January 1st through April 11th, once every day, you will earn that badge. And of course, it doesn't have to be a 45-minute cycling class. Meditation, stretches, any type of class works and counts towards that. So that challenge is active now, and you can go ahead and opt in. If you want to do that, go ahead and get opted in for that, so you're ready to go for January 1st. And then changing gears a little bit, Peloton has been experimenting with some new class formats in London. If you've been a long-time member, you might have heard coaches kind of joke before about, I can't get off the bike, I have to be on the bike. And it's kind of been I don't know if it's unwritten or if it's actually written for them, but a rule that, instructors stay on the bike. Well, 2 recent classes in London, we've actually seen that be thrown out the window, and the instructors have actually gotten off the bike and walked around in studio while teaching their classes. And this wasn't a case of like them feeling like going rogue and just doing it. Peloton had a Steadicam operator following them around the studio. So this was clearly a well-planned and choreographed thing they were trying. One of the classes was Bradley Rose's, and it was which class was it? It was his 30-minute 80s ride from December 14th. And in that class, so in both, it was also Leanne Hainsby's 30-minute hit ride from the 15th. And they both started off the same way, where the instructors are standing in the studio members, and they give the first half of their intro standing with members before they hop on the bike. And then halfway through the class, they unclip after saying, don't try this at home, don't walk in your cycling shoes. And then they actually go walk into the studio while the class is still going on, and they're giving instructions and, still talking. They kind of do it in 2 different ways. Bradley actually, they left an open bike for him. So Bradley actually got off his bike, got in between some members, and taught for a minute or so from a studio bike. And then Leanne, she didn't really get on a bike. She just kind of got off and high-fived some people and stood next to someone motivating them. But it was a very different thing than you're used to saying with them being on the bike the entire time.
Yeah,
pretty random, but I liked it. It very much harkened to, Jen Sherman getting off the bike years ago in the 23rd Street when she sang Rapper's Delight, and then more recently for her anniversary, I think.
November 2023.
Yeah.
And we do have some if you haven't taken these classes, in the article on the Pelo Buddy website, we do have a short YouTube video kind of showing these moments if you're curious what that looked like. So you can check that out over there to kind of see the couple clips of this from the newer classes.
Yeah, I shared a clip from that Bradley ride, the moment he stepped off and just clipped into that bike in the front row and was, making funny, cheeky comments to the members on either side of him, like looking down at their stats and admiring their posture.
I thought it was very cool. I hope they bring it. I hope they bring it to PSNY as well. I thought it was just fun.
Quality, the video quality of that Steadicam is perfect.
Yeah,
and it's really not just them walking at a distance. Like Bradley literally pulls the camera up to his face, so it's they have a lot of flexibility with the camera. We've seen them use it a little bit before. They used that in the Lil Wayne class, I believe, or Little John class with Alex Toussaint. And they used it for some of the live DJ rides in London. So it seems like they're experimenting with that a little bit more here and there to just kind of, change the standard views you're used to.
Correct. I was going to mention the DJ ride with Leanne in London was fantastic, how they did that as well. Yeah, so it makes it a little bit fun. I like it. I like that they're kind of changing up things like that. So hopefully they got positive feedback from that.
But don't leave a front row bike open just for 1 minute of the instructor going on.
I will say I'm not sure about Bradley's, but in Leanne's class, if they had done that, there were at least 3 open bikes in that class. So there might have been one in the back row, and they just decided to leave the one on the front row open instead. But in Leanne's, there were definitely open bikes, so they wouldn't have been taking member spots for that one.
Was that from a Sunday class? What class? What
believe so.
Wow. Yeah, she's
I don't
only
think they
live
could
on
do that in the
Sundays.
front row at PSNY because people,
They did
they'll
that
choke you over
during
that front row
they
bike.
did that during the 120-minute Power Zone ride, but it wasn't open the entire time. It was open for Christian Vanderbilt, after he taught on the main studio, he went over there and hopped on there, and Matt Wilpers did as well. So they kind of used it the entire time in that one for the 120-minute class.
Fun.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
We're glad you approve, Prue.
Yeah.
We're glad you approve.
I'll sign off on that.
All right. Well, we do like to share with you each week Peloton's weekly highlights from the previous week. So the highlights from December 16th through the 22nd. First up, we had a 30-minute pop punk bar strength class with Ali Love. It was on Tuesday, December the 17th at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Maddie Majacomo did his walk and talk year in review this past Friday, discussing 2024's major pop culture moments. Was a ton of fun as he was in his Brittany Allen New Year's Eve get-up, sparkling, which we all waited patiently for him to rip open as he teased a couple times, but we didn't get there. And my text messages were blowing up, going, "Take it off, Maddie," but clearly he said maybe that wasn't a good idea. And then today we had Kristen Ferguson's 30-minute live outdoor hip hop run at 7:30 a.m. This is the third ever live outdoor class. So that was kind of fun. And then Cliff Dwenger, he had his first English edition of his signature ride featuring a live performing gospel music. So this class has previously been taught in German, but he brought it in English. So if you have been staying away from the German classes because of the language barrier, this is your opportunity to get to see the incredible atmosphere in the studio with the choir and Cliff. So definitely jump on those.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, Peloton has revealed the full details of one of their final artist series. I won't say the final one because I don't think it is truly the final artist series of 24, featuring pop star Sia. The series arrived on Thursday, December 19th, and included a total of 9 classes across a wide variety of fitness modalities, which were offered in English and German. Majority of them did occur live, and we got as follows. We got a 10-minute Sia cool-down ride with Christine, a 30-minute outdoor walkless run with Bex, 20-minute run with Jeffrey McEachern, 30-minute flow with Dennis, a 30-minute run with Mariana, a 30-minute ride with Jess King, a 30-minute Sia row with Ash Pryor, a 30-minute ride with Charlotte Wiedenbach, which is in German, and a 20-minute upper body strength with Jocelyn Thompson Rule, which dropped as a premiere. And then in addition to the instructor-led classes, there are also 3 new lane break levels, which became available on December 18th, the day before the full series began. We got a 15-minute lane break ride, a 15-minute run, and a 15-minute lane break walk.
I do want to preface that by saying, or add to that by saying that unfortunately Mariana actually ended up being really sick and had to cancel her live
Did no one
class.
subbed last minute?
No.
Damn.
She did go on to say they're going to try to do it in January, so they will try to do that as a one-off in January or February, I believe.
Yeah. So if anybody's looking for that Mariana Sia run, I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that it was unfortunately postponed. We do hope that she feels better. I mean, for her to take off, she must have been feeling really rough. And again, it's this was another example of listening to your body. She could have gone out there and run and then been really, really sick afterwards. So this way, at least she gave her body that extra day of recovery. So
I feel
huge
like
shout out to her.
If you're an instructor and you have to teach a tread class, like a run, I think it's really hard to try to pull it off.
Oh, for
like
sure.
Sick or, I could see how like on a ride or somewhere where you're seated, it might be easier to do it under the weather, but
And Mariana doesn't do things half-heartedly. So if she's going to get out there, she's going to give
Full
her
ass.
her all. So yeah.
Well, speaking of artist series, even though we're wrapping up the end of the year artist series this month, Peloton has gone ahead and shared what some of the artist series for January are. So next month, there are going to be at least 5 different artist series, one every single week. On January 2nd, there will be an artist series featuring Zedd. On January 9th, there will be an artist series featuring Lil Wayne. On January 16th, you'll have Jelly Roll. On January 23rd, you'll have Tate McRae. And then on January 30th, you'll have Selena Gomez. And on the Pelo Buddy website, we have a list of who's teaching what so far, which, are the ones with studio members. And then each week, we will share the full list as those come out, usually on the Tuesday before those classes.
Yeah, I can only think if Kendall were still with Peloton, she would totally be all over the Jelly Roll and Tate McRae. I feel like that's totally in her wheelhouse. But I was really hoping there was going to be a George Michael artist series in there, as we're all very eagerly anticipating
that.
Not yet.
All right. Well, each year, Dennis Morton, or he's done it for a couple of years, I guess, drops his kind of his New Year rest ride and yoga. And I did
Reset.
Yes. Reset. And that did drop this past Friday. So on the 20th, we got to see his reset for yoga. I have not seen the reset for ride yet.
That was going to be live, I believe.
Okay.
And it was the next day, but those are designed to be taken back to back, even if they're not always recorded. And he does a couple a year, but it's one of his signature series. But it's not one that he does 6 weeks in a row like some of the others. He spaces those out kind of throughout the year. So we've finally got a new installment of that this past week.
Awesome. For those of you that just needed a reset into the new year, definitely Dennis's classes are a must take. They really are fantastic.
Well, speaking of new programs and content, we also have a new Strength for Skiers program that has been teased for a long time, but has finally officially been released. And there are not one, but there are 2 versions of this program. There is a English language program, which is taught by Andy Spear and Matt Wilpers. And then there is a German language program, which is taught by Irene Kamer. Both of these are 1 week long programs. We have a full list of the classes in those programs on our website, but something they've been doing recently and it's a 1 week long program. The German program has, I believe, 7 classes and the English has around 11. But one thing they did here, which they've done with some other of these strength programs, they're actually available in the on-demand library. So if you just love one of the classes, you can go find it in the on-demand library and take it whenever you want. So they're not entirely locked behind the program if you want to check those out.
Cool. One person did message me that took the Strength for Skier program with Andy and Matt, and they're not a skier, and they said how hard it was. Because it was probably working all these different muscle groups that are normally, they normally work, because it's focusing on different areas of your body for skiing, I guess. But they said it was tough. So FYI, caveat. All right. Moving on. So in a video compilation posted by the Peloton Studios Instagram page this past week, they featured a fun clip show of some funny random moments with some of the German instructors, with a caption that read, "Join our German instructors as we look back at the funniest, silliest, and most touching moments from the last 5 years." They said find it on December 20th on the entertainment tab on all hardware. So in addition to viewing it on the social channels, you could actually watch it on the entertainment tab of Peloton hardware. But it was a cute, fun little clip show. It wasn't too long.
Yeah, the one that's on Peloton Entertainment is actually 30 minutes long. So it's a full in-depth documentary style. And it is in German, but they do have English subtitles. So that came out on Friday. And you can find it in the Peloton Entertainment section and view 30 minutes. It's got I think it's in celebration of the 5-year anniversary of Peloton Germany. I've not had the chance to take it yet, but I did see that it's a full 30-minute long documentary in there.
Is the 30-minute version, is it posted on their YouTube? Anywhere else? Any other
I haven't
channels?
seen it anywhere else yet, so I think you get, the
Just there.
Instagram stuff was kind of a teaser for the full thing coming out to get people to go check it out on the hardware devices.
Gotcha.
All right, good. Well, keeping with the German stuff, German cycling instructor Benny Adami shared on IG that he will be leading a Boney Artist Series ride at the end of the year on Tuesday, December the 31st, saying it will be the perfect way to kick off 2025. And it's been a while since I've heard some Boney M. So that definitely is going to be fun.
And that will be the last artist series of the year. His class is premiering on 4:30 a.m. Eastern on December 31st. So that's actually going to take place this year. And then there is also going to be a walk plus run in German with Marcel Maurer as well. So there's going to be at least 2 classes in that Boney German language artist series dropping to close out the year.
Is Boney M a German artist? I didn't know that. Okay, something
I'm
new.
not sure on that one.
All right.
It's Boney.
We'll keep
Boney M. That's the name of the artist.
I've heard of them. I mean,
Boney
I have
space M.
Huh.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was something I needed to learn more about.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the end of the year, Peloton is releasing some of their traditional New Year's Eve and New Year's Day classes. We know there will be at least 2 different New Year's Eve classes. There is a brand new Jess King experience, which is a long-going tradition of hers. This was pre-recorded, and there are members in the studio, along with DJ John Michaels. So that's going to come out on the 31st. It might actually be, no, that's actually going to drop on demand on the 30th. But then it'll be showing as encore on New Year's Eve at various time periods. There was also a New Year's Eve Groove Armada DJ ride with Groove Armada in the studio with Ben Aldis. That was also pre-recorded. That'll be taking place. There might be a couple others that are dropping as well, but those are just the ones that are on the schedule right now. And then in addition, we have several New Year's Day classes that will be coming out as well. There's going to be a walk with Mila Wiedekind. There's going to be a recovery walk with Jocelyn. There's going to be a ride with Charlotte. And there's going to be a recovery ride with Sam Yo. So you've got some New Year's Day recovery rides to look forward to as well that will be coming out. I think those might actually drop on demand the day before as well on the 31st, but they'll be available on, showing up as premieres and on demands and encores on the 1st as well.
All right, well, I had to, I like details. I needed to check this out. So Boney M, it's a reggae, funk, and disco music group that was founded back in the 70s. And it was created by a German record producer. So Frank Farian, who was the group's primary songwriter. So there we have it. Got to make sure we give you guys those details. We can't act ignorant on here. We need to know our facts.
Yeah, and then one final thing for this year, one tradition that's continuing this year is Peloton will be doing their top 50 music countdown classes. Those will be dropping starting on December 26th, and there will be new ones each day on the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. The 26th will be 50 through 41. The next day will be 40 through 31. And there's going to be 5 different classes each day doing the countdown. There's going to be a strength class, there's going to be a ride class, there's going to be a yoga class, there will be a runner walk class, and there will be a row. Who knows, we might see an outdoor version as well that's released. So we've got a full list of what those are and who is teaching which ones over on the Pelo Buddy website. Those will all be in English, but in addition, they're actually doing something for the Spanish-speaking and German-speaking communities as well. On the 30th, there will be a top 10 music ride and run in German, which will be taught by Eric Yeager and Jeffrey McEachern. And then there will be a top 10 music ride and run in Spanish, taught by Camila Ramon and Mariana Fernandez. So they don't get the full 55 class countdown, but there will be a top 10 one just in German and Spanish releasing on the 30th, which is the same day the number 10 through 1 classes will be released in English.
That's awesome. That's the first time they're doing that, right? With the Spanish and German.
I believe they did the German one last year, at least. I don't recall if they did the Spanish one last year, but I believe they did the top 10 music in German last year as well.
Got it. Very cool. Very cool.
Well, Peloton will be supporting some local communities this year with an online holiday donation drive. They shared the news earlier this week on Instagram, and the post mentioned Peloton will be supporting multiple communities this year, including families in Wedco's, Bronx Commons, Intervale Green, and Urban Horizons. And it links, the links that Peloton shared go to Amazon wish lists with donations. At this point, donations have already closed. They closed on Friday, December 20th. But Peloton went into detail and shared. They said, let's spread joy where it's needed most. Help us support families in the Bronx community by donating essentials like clothing, diapers, and more. This year, we're supporting 3 communities, so tap to see where else you can donate. And this is the 3rd year in a row that Peloton has been supporting Wedco's Bronx Commons during the holiday season. So they've done similar holiday donation drives in past years that included in-person event components. In 2023, there was a toy drive at PSNY, if you recall, with Rad Lopez, who's actually born and raised in the Bronx, a native. He was in attendance for a meet and greet. The year prior, before that, PSNY had a toy drive event and a meet and greet with Rad, as well as Marcel Dinkins.
Nice. And then we got to see another Peloton collaboration, this time apparel collaboration. This time it was with Jess King on a limited edition New Year's Eve themed apparel collection. It's available this past week. It became available this past week. Jess had shared her excitement, emphasizing the thought and love behind the collection, which includes 9 pieces designed for movement and style. Some of the highlights of the collection was a Mess Shrug V-back bra. It came in 2 colors, kind of like a green and a metallic burgundy, I would say. There was a mesh sling bra, also in 2 colors. She had an endurance light liquid metal tights, a fleece crew sweatshirt, a padded lounge coat, which was very interesting. I'm not sure if you went out or in the home, or I quite couldn't get that. But the collection was inspired by the disco ball aesthetic, which aligns with Jess King's annual New Year's Eve rides, often under the Jess King experience, if you're looking for it on the platform. But was an interesting drop.
Yeah,
Well,
there were
and
no pieces for dudes in that drop, right? It was all for
the
for
coat.
women's. I mean, Andy could probably pull that off. I don't think I can. I could do it.
Yeah.
Well, the
Andy would wear
timing
it.
the timing of the release was interesting because if you did not rush out to buy it the day it dropped, Peloton Apparel actually held a 50% off sale that started the next day. And all of the items from the drop that came out yesterday were included as part of that sale. So if you did not buy it the day it came out, you were able to get 50% off 24 hours later. So there's a little bit of conversation I saw about that taking place online. Why didn't they exclude those like they do some of the Lululemon and stuff? But the timing of that, was interesting with the release of the apparel.
Yeah, because then it's just people having to call and say, I just bought that. I need a refund. I'm sent,
And some people were getting mixed success. I heard of some people who were told, no, you just can't get a refund. I heard some people who said, we'll give you that as a gift card. Some people were able to speak to managers who were able to get a refund. So there was varying levels of responses.
And then if you returned it, you had your $9 restocking fee.
But you can't even, they won't even issue, they won't even cancel your order if it hasn't been fulfilled and shipped yet?
Some people were being told no.
Wow.
Oh.
Not winning any apparel fans
apparel.
Well, moving on. So Peloton has teamed up with NBA player Karl Anthony Towns for a promotional video. Karl Towns, who plays for the New York Knicks, recently filmed a Never Have I Ever video for Peloton. So the video is filmed from his home gym. It shows him walking and jogging on his Tread Plus during the video. and it serves kind of two pronged what it's serving. So one being a promotion for the Tread Plus, obviously, and the other being a showcase of Karl Anthony Towns, the NBA basketball player, and letting people get to know him. So in the video, he talks about discovering new songs in Peloton classes, playing in the NBA, plans for his post-NBA career, and more. He wraps up the video by talking about how good his knees feel after running on the Tread Plus with those soft shock-absorbent slats that it has. And this is part of Peloton's ongoing partnership with the NBA, which was released last year. They recently named Breanna Stewart as the first Peloton X WNBA ambassador, released a video with her. And the partnership has also seen some Peloton X NBA classes created, as well as a Peloton presence at several NBA events throughout the season. I thought it was funny at the video, the Karl Anthony Towns. It was funny because the video, it was also on his Instagram grid as well. It wasn't just featured on Peloton. So it was on his own personal Instagram page because he was, a collaborator on it. So I thought a lot of the comments were kind of humorous and funny from people that are clearly not like Peloton members. They're just NBA fans of the Knicks or him. Because a lot of them were saying like, dude, how about just like playing offense, for once, and just like, and ragging on his performance as an NBA player.
Funny.
Just a side. I just thought it was funny. It's like, get back on the court, bro.
And this is, clearly part of a bigger coordinated push with the NBA, because in addition, shortly after that one, on the main One Peloton account and his personal, there is a similar video that Seth Curry created. He's sitting in front of his Peloton bike on a bench, but he's kind of doing a Q&A type thing for Peloton as well. So this seems to be a part of a bigger push. And we've kind of seen it with the Watt brothers and the NFL, but they're clearly going after, some of the professional sports market and trying to get out in front of professional sports stands.
Yeah.
Well, in other news, we shared a year or two ago, I guess, that Peloton and Accor hotels in Australia had a partnership, and that partnership has now been extended. It's going to run through at least September of 2025, and this is for the Accor hotels in Australia. But if you go to one of those hotels, you can earn 100 bonus points for doing the workout. Peloton recently announced something similar like this with Hyatt hotels in the US. Now, while that one is automatic, for this one, you actually have to find a QR code that's going to be in the gym or the front desk and scan that QR code to get your bonus points. But if you're in Australia and staying at a Accor hotel, you can find some Peloton hardware there and get some bonus points for doing a workout.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Well, we only had one birthday this past week, and that was Camilla Ramon. She celebrated her birthday on Wednesday, the 18th. And I'm going to add this in here. Chris, you never had it in there, but I think it's interesting. You guys know that I come from the infertility background. And Camilla has been very vocal over the last 2 weeks or so in sharing that she is going through egg freezing. So interesting, the fact that she is just turned 32. I believe it was her 32nd birthday. And had made the decision. And so she's off the platform, or hasn't been working out as much. I think she's off the platform as well, but has gone ahead and frozen her eggs. Lots of questions. Why eggs? She's married. Why isn't she doing embryos? And she did share that. She shared that due to the timing of when she wanted to do it, when she wanted to use her time off, the clinic that she's using weren't able to do the actual full process of fertilizing those eggs and creating embryos. So she's just gone ahead and frozen her eggs. But if you guys are interested, she has it on TikTok and YouTube. She has all her information. She's really kind of done a video diary of her entire experience. And I think it's amazing. I love that the instructors are so open about these journeys because it is just, such an important message, and so many people are intimidated in doing it. So I'm really huge shout out to Camilla for being just so open about the journey. And shout out to her doing it over her birthday. It's not an easy process. So having to incorporate it right before the holiday season and her birthday is definitely a big deal. So, just wanted to give her a shout out on that, since she has been so vocal and open about doing it. And that takes us right into Instructor in the News. So I will kick it off. Some of the instructors had a little bit of fun recently. We saw Ali Love, Rebecca Kennedy, and Adrian Williams pretend to be Peloton showroom staff as they went undercover selling the tread and apparel. There was some Instagram reels that had surfaced of it was hysterical. Adrian was probably the most hysterical.
With the power walking,
with the
talking
power walking,
with
and
the
he's
tread.
like, "Well, can you give me some tips?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And she's power walking away, and then he ended up selling the tread to her. So, of course, I'm dying to know: did they really not know who these instructors were, or was it all actually, staged? I think it may have been, they may not have known. I mean, from what I could see, I don't know if anyone heard anything different, but that was definitely fun. Looked like a fun little thing.
I love how they gave one or two people discounts for lunges, burpees.
Yes.
Like they got $100 off. And some people were like, $100 off for burpees? That's wild.
Yeah. But it was a fun little wheel.
Well, this week, Robin Arzon spoke at the White House Conference on Women's Health Research. She posted on Instagram and said, "My life's purpose is to light fires that ignite confidence, power, and resilience in people, especially women everywhere." She said, "It was an honor to speak at the White House Conference on Women's Health Research. Thank you to all the speakers for your perspective, passion, and dedication to progressing women's health and gender equity research. By continuing to share our stories, we'll make sure every woman has the tools, resources, and support to own the pen to her health story." And I think Robin, she was at the White House. This is probably her second visit in 2024.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's a regular there.
All right. Well, Rebecca Kennedy and Andy Spear were very busy chatting with Skin Deep. So they were recently on the Skin Deep podcast talking about their relationship and what makes them so compatible. It's definitely an interesting podcast, or at least an interesting episode.
Format.
Format. Thank you. Where they, shared kind of what attracted, themselves to each other, what their relationship involves. So if you haven't seen that, definitely shoot over to pelobuddy.com and you can pick that up there.
I believe it's just on YouTube. I was trying to look up like on all the podcast platforms, and it seems like it's like a video show. So I watched a lot of it on YouTube because I was trying to listen to it, on Spotify
on podcast, you couldn't,
or Apple Podcasts, and nothing was coming up or Skin Deep.
Nice. Well, Bexa Gentry has been sharing more details about her recent 7 marathon in 7 days adventure. She went in depth with it on the New York Roadrunners podcast, which she is a co-host of. So that's available to listen. And those episodes sometimes end up on the Peloton platform as well as classes, normally a month or two after they come out. So in a month or two, you might be able to hear that episode of the New York Roadrunners podcast that you're talking about, which is also on ABC 7 in New York, talking about it and just kind of sharing some of the details behind that. So you can go to either of those platforms. And there's several others where she's been talking about it recently to hear more about, Bex's 7 marathons in 7 days and 7 continents, where she was actually second overall. Not just second woman, but second overall. So congratulations again to Bex.
Still in complete awe. And as I shared on the show before, got to see her cross that finish line for number 7. And it was honestly a moment. All right. And then lastly, an instructor in the news, our friend Maddie Majacomo. He was on national ABC News Live with Stephanie for Motivational Monday. And Maddie shares his advice, which is to be the tortoise, as in the tortoise and the hare. He says, go slow, There is no rush to start the new year and, run a marathon. Go slow, start off slow, get your body moving, get yourself into some kind of routine, and just be consistent. That was really more of his message, which I loved, is just be consistent in what you're doing. If you're going to do 30 minutes every day, do 30, start off by doing 3 times a week, 30 minutes every day. He also says that over the holidays, gamify exercise. He said they kind of do something fun with their family. Their family tends to be all together at his parents' home in Rhode Island, and they have a tread there. And he said they really have fun by figuring out how many miles. They set a goal. How many miles can they get done, over the Christmas week? So that's something that you can look at doing, which can be fun, certainly with the kids or with family members. But he said having fun is definitely the most important thing. So that was kind of a cute little interview that he had on ABC Live.
Yeah, I liked it. He's always lighting up the room with that smile. He's always
I know. He really is.
It comes right through the the screen.
100%. Absolutely. All right. Well, we've given you a very long show, but we are going to wrap it up with our picks of the week. We know you guys love them. We know you always like to find out what everybody's doing. So I will go ahead and kick it off, and we will run through them. There are a lot, but we will run through them quick. So let's start off with Logan Aldridge. He did a 20-minute seated adaptive upper body strength class. It was on the 12th of December it was one of those drops. This one came to us from Matt Smith TX8, and they said good upper body workout for everybody. Next up, Tunde had a 60-minute 2000s ride. Also from the 12th, it came to us from Okie Girl Cycles. They said amazing class plan, and it just flew by. And then Anna Greenberg's 20-minute Backstreet Boys. It was her yoga flow on the 12th at 6:15 p.m. It came to us from Amaja 3, who got to be live in studio. So it was so lovely to see Amanda in studio. And she said, great flow with some of my favorite songs.
And next we have Matt Wilpers and Andy Spear and their 30-minute Strengths for Skiers class from the 13th at 10 a.m. Eastern. This came from Rusty Can 2. They said they are a great combo, and this is just a good solid workout too with a great playlist. We then have Bex Gentry and her 30-minute intervals run from the 13th. This came from Patrick 707, who said Bex is back and a great structure. And then we have Bradley Rose and his 30-minute 80s ride from the 14th at 7 a.m. Eastern. This was the one we talked about earlier in the show with him being off the bike. This came from Daisy Mac and Almajar 3, who said so fun to see him join the members and interact with the studio off the bike.
Yeah, and then moving over to the mat, we had Kira Michelle's 30-minute grunge yoga flow. This one was from the 14th of December at 11:30 a.m. Also coming to us from Amaja 3. She said, Kira and grunge, perfect pairing. And then Rad Lopez had a 30-minute full body strength, also from the 14th. This was at 12:30 p.m. It came to us from Julie MJ, and they said simple and effective moves, solid playlist, and great energy. And then Dennis Morton's 45-minute classic rock ride, also from the 14th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. It came to us from Just Dance Lisa and Amaja 3, and said this class had a great playlist and great energy.
And then we have Susie Chan and her 30-minute holiday run from the 15th. This came from Tracy C. and Chris M. Giles, who said this was such a great class with Susie Striders and PSL. The music was perfect. We have Allie Love and her 30-minute holiday ride from the 16th at 8 a.m. Eastern. This came to us from KEB Vickery, who said great music from this holiday ride. And then we have Andy Spear in his 30-minute holiday full body strength, also from the 16th at noon Eastern. This came from Ginger Dan and Tabata Be Hidden Me, who said the storytelling and costumes were great in this.
I really feel that this year they gave us a lot more holiday material. There was just a lot on the platform, more so than I remember in the past, which was kind of really fun.
Surprised there's no Hanukkah class like last year.
I know. I was surprised.
I
Are we
believe
getting-
I saw a post that said they would be dropping one on demand, but I guess they
Okay.
just haven't loaded it as a premiere or encore. But I believe I saw something somewhere that said there would be a Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, so there'd be a couple different classes
Nice.
coming out. We'll see them when we see them,
Hanukkah's
but I
very
believe I saw
late this
Peloton
year.
post that somewhere.
So Hanukkah falls actually right on Christmas, which is
Yeah.
very unusual. It's very late this year. As you know, the calendar's all lunar, so it changes each year. But it is only next week. So looking forward to that. All right. Well, Jen Sherman's 20-minute 80s pop ride. It was on the 16th of December at 12:30 p.m. It came to us from Doodlebug 1694. And they said, just a great class, period. And then Christine Derkley's 60-minute Power Zone ride. Also from the 16th, it was at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It came to us from Albers Liz and Jennifer Carroll, 22, and they said loved the race simulation. And then Cody Rigsby's 30-minute bike boot camp, 50-50. Did you get to do that one, John?
I did that on Wednesday, when there was no live classes.
Good for you.
Fantastic.
Right.
Boot. I mean,
Wasn't
it
your
had
pick
been
of the week.
I
Well,
mean,
yes.
I'll co-sign that one with Nikki Ream and I miss Fabio Tennis.
Yeah.
Great class. The playlist theme was all songs about ass. So he had Cisco's Thong Song, Back That Ass Up, Bootylicious, Destiny's Child, Salt Shaker, Ying Yang, just give you a and it was Cody was very spicy. So it was he wasn't just, going through the motions on this one. So fantastic. I just wish it was longer because the 30 minutes flew
30
by.
minutes is just not,
But it was a long, I mean, this is the longest stretch that we had between Cody bike boot camps. The last one I think was in May. So, I've been hounding Jen Cotter, can we get Cody's boot camps back on the regular?
Well, as you
So
said,
at this rate, the next one might be this time next year if they're,
right,
slowing it down each time in between.
Exactly. Well, I did want to just share, though, that, as you said, Nikki Ream and I Miss Fabio Dennis had recommended it, and they said, can't go wrong with a new bike boot camp from Cody. And I guess John Pruitt agrees.
Super fun. I mean, I looked at, I always take, when there's a moment or something that I want to go back and maybe pull a clip and share or something, I always have a running notepad for various classes on my iPhone on the Notes app. And this one was just chock full from dance breaks to just random tidbits. So fabulous boot camp.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, next we have Nico and Jeffrey, who taught a 20-minute focus flow for runners in German as a 2-for-1 class. This came to us from George AZ82, who said it was fun to see the 2-for-1 yoga class. And then we have Maddie and his 60-minute walk plus run from the 18th, which was one of those midnight releases. This came to us from Genelica1, who said, great class, and it was a flat road the entire time. And then we have Charlotte and her 15-minute medal ride, which was in English from the 18th, another midnight release. This came to us from Ryder LF2, who said Charlotte's medal rides are always great, and this had the bonus of being in English.
Awesome. And then rounding up this week's picks of the week, we had Jess King's 20-minute sweat steady, low impact. Also that midnight Wednesday drop, it came to us from Jess Eliza R. And they said sweat steady is always guaranteed to be a killer workout. And then Nico Serrani and Eric Yeager, another 2-for-1 20-minute yoga flow or focus flow for riders. This one was obviously in German. It came to us from Bobby Spins ZR, and they said great class to pair with a ride. And finally, Alex Kowarski, 15-minute hit row. This one dropped on the 19th at 6:30 a.m. Tabata Be Hitting Me gave this one as their recommendation, said so hard, but great workout in a short amount of time. And that, folks, wraps up our 2024 picks of the week. So there will be no show next week due to the Christmas holiday. We may take a couple weeks off. We'll kind of see what the schedule looks like and what news there is over the holidays. So if you don't hear from us the week after, we apologize, but we'll figure out if we can make it work for you guys or not. But yeah, we just want to thank you. Thank you for, being there all year and tuning in, listening, and, continuing to give us the support. We love bringing you the show. We feel it's a nice way to kind of wrap up the week and give it all to you in, this week was a little more than an hour, but an hour for the most part of what's happening in the Peloton world. So yeah, thank you. As always, for me, happy holidays. We can only pray for the new year to bring us good health and peace in this world. So from me here in Maryland, I am, again, just wishing you all a very happy holiday and looking forward to seeing you in 2025.
Yeah, thank you, as Amanda said, thank you, everyone, for continuing to watch and listen. And happy holidays and happy new year to everyone. And from me here in Atlanta, we'll talk to everyone next time.
Yes, and thank you from me. Want to express my gratitude as well and wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year. And we'll see you in 2025.
And just a quick thank you to Amanda, John, Chris, and Rich. Thank you to everyone, behind the scenes at Pelo Buddy as well. Katie, Stephanie, Holly. Thank you to everyone who helps make all this happen. So thank you to everyone you see here and everyone you don't see here as well.
It's our pleasure. It is our pleasure. All right, everybody. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.